A transitional Manchester City, but today they've at least got over the line, Alan. We mentioned those 2 Premier League games and Champions League games where they were in front and couldn't win. It's difficult, isn't it? He's finding his feet, a new squad, but trying to win and keep in touch at the same time. Yeah,
and also the issue with Rodri isn't helpful when you're starting him and then he has to go off with an injury. But it's a different Manchester City. They're trying to do something new. It will take time, and they're not as good as what they were. But because of what's happened this weekend, because of Arsenal's form, and because of Liverpool being beaten, this was a game that everyone would have been looking at City. It was a game for themselves. They had to win to keep up that little bit of momentum, to keep up with Arsenal, who look impressive. And it was a clean sheet. They didn't play well second half, but they got a really good start, a really good goal. And when you've got that beast up front, which is Erling Haaland, you've got an incredible chance to win football matches, because he was that piece of brilliance today when Van den Berg thought he could go head to head with him, could be as strong as him, could go as physical as him. You can't do it, because he's bigger, he's stronger, he's quicker than most, and that is exactly what he wants to do. And when the other centre-half is 20 yards away from you and the gap is glaring and you're playing such a high line, you can't afford to go in a physical battle with him, because he's pulling you around, he's scrapping. I used to do that myself, and I used to fancy my chances, but he's a good 5 or 6 inches bigger than I was, and that's what he wants to do with central defenders, is that he wants a physical battle, because more often than not, he'll beat you up. And because he's got everything to go with it. And not only the strength and the pace and all of those things, he's the best at that as well, as finishing as well. So ultimately, when you've got him up front, you've got a brilliant chance of winning football matches if he can keep the back door shut.
For club and country this season, only Spurs have stopped him scoring. Mm-hmm. It's astonishing.
Yeah, it's difficult to stop him in that sort of form. For club and country, of course, he scored, I think, 6 for Norway this season already. He's been immense. It's difficult. You see, like, a lot of other centre forwards maybe would have been bullied there in a sense, but it's actually the opposite. He's bullying the centre half, and as you say, Van den Berg tries to fight him. It's a losing battle. And then again, has he got the finesse? And there wasn't much finesse with the finish, but has he got the finesse and the power to finish it off after the physical battle? The too right he has, and again, it's a brilliant take from him. And if Man City are to compete at the very top, then he needs to stay fit. He needs to stay on top of his game. And again, as I said before, it's not a difficult ball from Guardiola, but he makes it more or less the chance after that. Very difficult to defend against, Steve.
18 goals for club and country already this season. He has to stay fit, doesn't he? For them to be.
Yeah, there's no doubt. When seasons gone by, we've looked at Rodri and thought how brilliant he's been, and he has been. But ultimately, this season, if City want to challenge, which of course they do, he is the guy that has to stay fit, because without him, they're still a good team, but they're miles off what you'd have to do to challenge. So it's imperative he stays fit.
After the 39th minute, though, Manchester City didn't have an effort on target at all, which is not like the old Manchester City, no.
Yeah.
And Brentford had one very good chance, didn't they?
I think. Yeah, when you play Man City as well, you don't get many chances, Steve, do you? This is their moment, this is their chance. And Thiago doesn't take it. Guardiola gets stuck under the ball with his header. And now it's a 1v1 situation. Now, albeit it's a 1v1 situation against one of the best goalkeepers in world football. And maybe his reputation went before him, but I don't think he ever got it out of his feet. As I say, Guardiola went underneath it. If you watch his touch, one half he's touched that touch, and then it's sort of, you can see Donnarumma comes out, closes the angle, makes the goal very small at this point, but he's still stuck within Thiago's feet. He never gets it away so he can get a powerful strike. See here now, this touch here, it's not a great touch, it's still under his feet. Donnarumma seizes that moment, gets closer, makes himself even bigger. When Thiago looks up at that point, you've got a 6'6" goalkeeper right in your face. It's a good block from Donnarumma, but again, you know, Al, you'd be disappointed from a centre-forward point not to get it out of your feet and get a better shot.
What could or should he have done?
Well, he never sets himself. He never looks comfortable, and he's never in control of the ball, where in an ideal world he would want it. I mean, it's hard enough anyway when defenders are chasing you down, which they are, but it's even more difficult when you can't get the ball under control, and he never does. His first touch there, then his second touch, then what that then does is then it puts the goalkeeper in a really favourable position. because the goalkeeper, because of your poor touch there, and again, he's able to set himself. Look, he's ready for you. And it's one of those where who blinks first, but because those touches are so poor, he's not able to get himself ready, Thiago. And the goalkeeper for then is always the favourite to make the save. So he was never ever comfortable in control of the ball, and that's what cost him.
And ultimately, in the way that game was played, that's a big moment because, as you rightly said, they weren't getting many, and that's the fine margins again.
Yeah, again, even the long throw wasn't that successful today. I think Man City set up really well. I mentioned to you, Al, they were sort of putting lots of bodies around the back, Man City, to sort of combat the flick on, and they never really got no success with that. So obviously, we have a go at set play coach, but they've done their homework defensively, Man City, when it came to that long throw, and they didn't look like conceding.
What about right at the end with Donnarumma and Kevin Schade?
Yeah. Well, it's a different Man City this year because of the goalkeeper as well. I mentioned he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world, but he's probably not one of the best goalkeepers with the ball at his feet. Look, he's looking for an option at this point. No one really shows. So you could say he dwelled on it and got a bit lucky, because this could have went anywhere, Steve. We've seen it before. Goalkeepers getting closed down, ends up in the back of your net. So Donnarumma, I think he blew a sigh of relief when he seen that go by the goal, because I don't know who he's complaining at if his own players are not showing for it. But again, Ederson would have picked somebody out, played out from the back. It's a different sort of Man City this year. He said they have to transition, they have to get used to how Donnarumma plays, and he's definitely not as good with the ball at his feet.
There's a different mindset for an opposing striker in Kevin Schade's situation. He might not have done that with Ederson.
Yeah, well, because 99 times out of 100, Ederson's going to find that ball and ping it either out to the fullback, or he's going to find that ridiculous pass that he could do over the top that we saw so many times. You're not going to see that as much with Donnarumma, definitely not.
What about this milestone for Pep Guardiola then? 250 Premier League wins, the quickest to it by some margin, and he's beaten the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger. We know it's a different Man City at the moment, but since he arrived, look at that, in 349 games, he's 250 victories.
Yeah, he's a phenomenal record, Stephen. It's an amazing record, and as I said before, the companies in there is some of the greats of the Premier League history, isn't it? And he's there rightly so. He's built a great team, a great squad, but he won't think of that record today. He won't think of that record the rest of the season. All he'll be thinking about is getting his hands back on the Premier League title. That's his aim. That's why he's at Manchester City. That's why, he's probably on that list, because he's so hungry for some more success. And again, they're in touching distance again of Arsenal, Liverpool at the top, and it's just, can they keep that going for the season? Because that's what Pep Guardiola wants. He doesn't want like a transitional year with new players and stuff like that. That's not his remit. His remit is to win the league.
I think with where they are, I don't think he'll be that bothered. I think he'll be quite content. Obviously, he would like to be sitting top with more points, but I think with the Club World Cup, with the issues that they've had, with the situation with Rodri, with the changes they're having to make and have made, I think he'll be quite content in knowing that in the past, we've often seen the best of Manchester City in the second half of the season come Christmas time. He'll be hoping that they can do that again. I'm not sure they'll be able to have that push again, because, as I said, I don't believe they'll ever get to those standards that he took them to. But I think in his mind, he'll be quietly content where they are at the minute.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the other thing that people aren't mentioning, I don't know why, they aren't mentioning Manchester City for the title. Everyone's talking about Arsenal, everyone's talking about Liverpool, and no one's mentioned them. And I think that could play into their hands as well, possibly. I still think they have to tighten up a little bit at the back. I do believe that. But again, going back to Haaland, Foden and the likes, hitting form, looking really sharp in front of goal, I think they'll be thereabouts come the end of the season.
OK, let's hear from the man who has just won his 250th Premier League game. Here he is, the Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola.
Well, Pep, congratulations. Is that relief, joy, perhaps a mix of both? How do you reflect on today?
No, good. They had one chance in the first half and one duel that we lost, but part of that, OK, more corners, more throw-ins, more actions, and the rumours for the Premier League always is there, but we don't concede. And yeah, we played an outstanding first half that is closing our best in many things. The problem is when you don't score goals and the chances that we had and Cahill make a good saves is more difficult. In Premier League, second half we 1-0 always happen, but we don't match or more tired. Of course, we attack less the spaces, but in general, really pleased for this month since United game. The team grew up a lot in many things, and hopefully we come back healthy, the players for the national team.
This is it. I mean, there were huge positives in that first half. When you've got 75% of the ball, though, at the break, and it's only translating to 4 shots on target, why do you think that is?
Because there are 10 players behind the ball, right? So there are another way, it's just a piece, another way that you defend deep and run in transitions, say 40 meters. So yeah, we could concede more, but it was so clear the chances, and the other ones were blocks in the last shoot, and but we were there. So, but the process was really good, and from here I always try to build. Always, from my experience, when we won, is because we play good, not because a lot or not or less chances. So, and the game was there.
I suppose as the game grows on, you mentioned there are 10 players behind the ball. How much of a mental challenge does it then become for the players?
But from my experience already here, when 1-0 second half, away games, or even at home, always it's tight, everything can happen. They put the ball there, they are told, but we defend really good the throw-ins and everything. So last season here we could not win, we happened this season.
We saw you embracing Erling Haaland at the end there. I think that's 18 goals now in 11 games, all competitions, club and country. What were you saying to him?
Keep going. He was tired, but keep going. Have been so important for us this season, I would say. We need more goals than the other ones, but the chances was there. So the winger have to score more goals. The winger have to create in situations 1 against 1 or 1 against 2. They have to finish more. But step by step we do it. As much as we are solid with the team in our game, we'll be fine.
Perhaps the only real negative on today is Rodri. Could you first confirm exactly what it is he's done?
I was right, no? When you asked me in the beginning of the game why I don't play 90 minutes all the time, the journalists always ask me why substitution against one. So hopefully, if his injury felt something, hopefully it will not be huge.
Just before you go, 250 Premier League wins. That's the milestone that you've reached today. You're the 4th manager to do it, and you're the fastest as well, beating the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, David Moyes, Arsene Wenger. You've so many accolades. What does that mean to you?
I will invite them, all of them, to dinner. I think it's an honor to sit in a table with them, so it's not bad. So it's 10 seasons, right? So it's many games, and of course 250 victories is a lot. I don't know how many games, but it is faster for one reason. It's because we won a lot, right? So we won a lot, and that's why you made a point. It's nice to. I didn't know it. It's nice, and I will call Sir Alex and Arsene to go one day. I will invite Sky to be present there. Okay?
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brett. Thank you.
Be some dinner party, that, in all fairness. And David Moyes, of course, if you can get him around the table, was the first victim in charge of Sunderland in Pep's very first Premier League win, and he actually faces David Moyes next after the international break at the Etihad against Everton. Wouldn't mind an invite to that dinner party, wouldn't it?
Get our name on the invite list would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. Glass of red, maybe.
In terms of what he's saying, you can tell he's rebuilding, but he's happy with the way it's going at the moment.
Yeah, I would reiterate what I said. I think he would be quietly content, not 100% satisfied. Pleased with the first half performance. Yeah, it's what we said. They were really good, but the only problem is they didn't put the game to bed at half time. Should have had another 2 or 3 goals for all the dominance. And you're right, when it's only 1-0, I don't care who or where you're playing, when it's only 1-0, at some stage the opposition, if you don't punish them and put the game away, the opposition will get one chance. And that was the case today. They did have that chance, and Thiago missed it. They went through one-on-one, as we've seen. That was their big opportunity. And then it would have been really interesting to see how they would have coped, given what's gone on in the last few games when they have conceded. But, deserve great credit. They're 3 points off top. And for all the issues and everything else that they've had, Man City, I would stick to my point and say he's reasonably happy.
He didn't really give us a diagnosis there on Rodri, but
no.
But that's the critical news that that every City fan will want, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a worry. You know, it's the same leg where he done his cruciate ligament last year. He was such a big void in the team, wasn't he? You know, he won the Ballon d'Or the season before, and we could see last year